We are going to learn important individuals of ancient China. I made this PowerPoint Prezi a little bit more vague because I want you guys to be writing down questions instead of bullet points as I go through each individual. So I definitely left it purposely that way. So make sure to pause and write down some questions so you can be prepared to come in class to contribute. All right. So our first person is Shi Huangdi. We did learn a little bit more about him when we were learning about the Qin dynasty. So he was the first emperor of the Qin dynasty. He wanted a universal system. Think about that. How did he do that? He was highly interested in magic and wanted to live forever. He would find sacred places and would do sacrifices to the gods. Because of his obsession with immortality, he created an enormous and impressive tomb, or archaeologists found in 1978. They were astonished. I highly recommend using this as a question. It's very interesting. Next, we have Wu Di. Under the Han Dynasty, he was Liu Bang's great-grandson. His main interests were war and military matters. He used Confucius' teachings to rein his government. Under his reign, the Han Dynasty prospered. He took effective measures in politics by selecting and appointing government officials. He strengthened the economy of the government. There were a couple of ways he did this. He was also into magic and very superstitious about people using witchcraft against him. He had a very interesting way of ending his reign that definitely dealt with witchcraft and his marriages. And he did have more than one marriage. Laozi. So for Laozi, there wasn't really much on him. It is hard to find a lot of information on him, especially because all the information comes from Sima Quan, the guy who wrote the history of ancient China. He notes in his book about Laozi, but I think when he left the Zhou dynasty, for some reason, they kind of lost records and track of him. But most importantly, we're going to be learning in a couple of days. We're not really concerned of who he was, but what he created. So he was a philosopher and writer. He was a founder of a religion, and that's the biggest piece here. That was what he was most famous for, as a founder of I would say more of like a civil religion. It wasn't more of a godlike religion. It was more of how people should behave type of religion. He also held a high position in the Zhou dynasty. It's also a question to think about of what position would that be? Confucius. So here is a quote by him. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. So he also is very known for his philosophical thinking and quotes and questions. Philosophy, a system of beliefs and values. Confucius, again, he was a Chinese teacher and philosopher. He was born in 551 BCE to a noble but poor family. How he became poor was his father did pass away at a young age. He loved learning and was self-taught. He wanted to be in government, but instead life took him to be a teacher. He taught students views on government and on life. He lived during a time of frequent warfare. Rulers wanted to control the land instead of wisely ruling. His motto was, the goal for society was to bring order. And to do that, we had to have a strong leadership. He believed in people knowing their place in society. They ought to respect others below and above them. I apologize for a little misspelling. And he also taught how to treat others justly. He also described that there are 5 human relations. All right, there's going to be my works cited for you guys. And there you have it. Again, left it a little bit vague. Please rewind, stop, and pause and write down some questions. I really want you guys to become prepared in class so we can brainstorm together and pick out what important questions we want to really research on.